Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life that define you, not by what happens to you, but by how you respond to what happens around you. Right now, in our world, something is happening that you cannot ignore. You must not ignore. There are children in Palestine waking up under rubble. Mothers searching through ash for their sons. Entire families, entire neighborhoods vanishing in smoke and silence. And while the world watches, the question remains, will you be silent? Or will you rise because silence is not neutral? Silence is a decision, and the people who are suffering right now don't need more observers. They need warriors of truth. They need people like you, not just to care, but to stand, to speak, and to act. Listen, I don't care where you're from. I don't care what your religion is. This isn't about sides. This is about souls. This is about humanity. This is about oppression. And it's about what happens to a world when we become so numb, so desensitized, that we scroll past genocide like it's just another headline. Let me tell you something, comfort is a lie. Comfort tells you it's not your fight. Comfort tells you to look the other way. Comfort says it's too complicated. But deep down you know injustice when you see it. You feel the burn in your chest when you hear a child scream. You know oppression when you hear silence after a bomb hits a hospital. You know truth, even when the world tries to hide it behind politics and power. And so I ask you, not as a speaker, but as a human being, what are you going to do? Will you keep waiting for someone else to fix it? Will you keep pretending your voice doesn't matter? Or will you become the disruption that justice needs? Because I'm here to tell you, you are not powerless. Every voice counts, every dollar donated, every story shared, every time you raise your hand and say, this is not okay. You chip away at oppression, you disrupt the silence, and for those of you with faith in your heart, any faith, let me remind you, faith without action is nothing. Prayer without movement is comfort dressed as piety. Your Creator doesn't want you to look away. He wants you to stand up, to become an answer to someone else's prayer. You want to be on the right side of history. You want your children to grow up in a world where justice means something. Then do something. Say something. Be something. Because in this fight, neutrality is complicity, and silence is betrayal. But courage is contagious, compassion is unstoppable, and truth always finds its way. But only when people like you become its voice. So don't wait to be perfect. Don't wait to be ready. Don't wait for permission. Rise now, speak now, stand now, because justice delayed is justice denied, and the people of Palestine, they need more than prayers. They need you. Let's make history for the right reasons. You cannot claim to care about humanity and stay silent while others are crushed. When a child cries out for help and the world turns its head, we reveal not the strength of our convictions, but the frailty of our compassion. Caring about humanity is not a passive statement. It's a call to action. You cannot light candles for peace and ignore the screams for justice. When your conscience whispers in the dark, this is wrong, and you silence it for comfort, you are choosing complicity. Standing for humanity means you speak, even when your voice shakes. It means you act, even when your hands tremble. When you claim to care about people, it isn't a claim you wear for social points. It's a responsibility. A responsibility to lift those crushed under the boot of injustice. A responsibility to recognize that your comfort is often built on someone else's suffering. And here's the truth. When you watch from the sidelines, your silence is the soundtrack to someone else's oppression. Every moment you choose not to speak becomes a moment that oppression thrives. If you truly care about humanity, you must show up for all of it. Not just the parts that are easy to love. Not just the victims that look like you, sound like you, or live where you live. Real humanity is tested when you defend the dignity of the voiceless, the broken, the forgotten, and the test isn't written in history books. It's written in your actions. When you claim to care, but you're silent when it matters most, the world sees through that silence. It sees the truth, and the truth is, you cannot say you care about humanity unless you stand up for it, even when it costs you something. That's where real compassion lives, not in comfort, but in courage. The voice of the oppressed must become the mission of the empowered. Power, real power, is not measured by what you have, but by what you do with what you have. You weren't given a platform to keep it quiet. You weren't given freedom so you could watch others lose theirs. When you are empowered, your purpose isn't to live in a bubble of convenience. It's to become the megaphone for those who have been silenced. Oppression is not sustained by the strength of the oppressors. It's sustained by the indifference of those with influence. If you have a voice, use it. If you have a platform, share it. If you have the freedom to speak, speak for those who can't. Because empowerment without compassion becomes arrogance, but empowerment with empathy becomes revolution. Your mission isn't to save the world alone, but to do your part, loudly, boldly, and without apology. You're not here to play small, you're not here to blend in. You are here to disrupt injustice, to rattle systems, to break cycles. You are here to amplify the cries of those the world would rather mute. Every word you speak for justice echoes louder when spoken from privilege. Your voice is your weapon, and the truth is your fire. And when you make their mission your mission, when you stand not just beside the oppressed, but behind them, pushing their stories into the light, that's when change begins. That's when the powerful tremble. Because an empowered soul who chooses to lift the oppressed is the most unstoppable force on this earth. True faith doesn't turn away. It moves toward pain with purpose. It doesn't scroll past tragedy. It doesn't mute suffering. It doesn't hide behind rituals and recitations while the world burns. True faith is alive. It breathes through action. It walks into the fire. It wraps arms around the broken. It confronts the systems that destroy lives. Faith isn't real when it's comfortable. Faith is real when it's inconvenient, when it pushes you to risk your reputation, your security, your convenience for the sake of the oppressed. If your faith only serves you, then it's not faith. It's a decoration. Real belief doesn't need permission to love boldly, defend fiercely, and speak truth unapologetically. It shows up where others flee. It weeps when others turn cold. It acts when others wait. True faith is not paralyzed by fear. It is mobilized by love. And love, real love, cannot bear to see children bombed, families torn apart, voices smothered. It cannot sit still while lives are erased. Faith without action is just noise. But faith with action, it's a storm, it's a movement, it's the divine made visible. If you claim to believe in something greater, prove it in the way you treat the least. Prove it in the way you speak up, even when your voice shakes. Because belief, when real, will drive you to the heart of suffering. Not to fix it all, but to say, I will not abandon you. That's what faith is. That's what faith does. Every excuse for inaction is an act of permission for oppression. Excuses sound reasonable, but they are roots of apathy. They are walls built around comfort zones. They are the silent allies of tyranny. It's complicated. It's not my place. What can I really do? These aren't just words. They are permission slips for cruelty. Every time you say, it's not my fight. The oppressor hears, I'm safe to continue. Injustice doesn't need your approval, it only needs your silence. And excuses are the language of silence. They dress themselves up in logic, but their goal is always the same, to keep you still while others suffer. The truth is, we all have power. We all have influence. We all have choices, and when you excuse your way out of action, you allow oppression to walk another mile. You open the door wider for suffering. You say, I'm okay with this, as long as it's not me. But here's the thing, someday it will be you. Someday it will be your people, your home, your name on the casualty list, and you'll hope someone speaks. You'll hope someone cares. You'll hope someone acts. So why wait? Why not be the someone you hope for? Why not stand now? Before it's your turn to need saving. Your excuses may comfort you today, but they will haunt you tomorrow. And history won't remember your reasons. It will remember your response. So stop asking, what can I do? Start asking, what happens if I don't? Because every excuse you make is an opportunity wasted. And every wasted opportunity is one more brick in the wall of oppression. The world doesn't change through comfort, it changes when courage becomes louder than fear. Comfort zones are graveyards for justice. Nothing transformational ever happened inside one. Comfort makes you soft. It makes you silent. It makes you forget that people are dying while you debate whether it's safe to speak. But courage is the fuel of revolution. Courage doesn't ask for approval. It doesn't wait for consensus. It moves, it burns. It breaks the silence with uncomfortable truth. It steps forward when fear says, sit down. The most powerful voices in history weren't the ones that played it safe. They were the ones that refused to shut up. Courage isn't born in easy times. It's forged in fire. It's awakened in the face of injustice. And it's what this moment demands from you. Not tomorrow, not next year, now, right now. Because fear will always give you a reason to wait. But history only remembers the ones who chose to move. If you want to see a better world, you must become a better force. A braver voice, a bolder presence. This world doesn't need more spectators. It needs disruptors, movers, shakers, builders, defenders. It needs you, not the watered-down version of you. The real you, the one who was born with fire in their bones. The one who knows that justice isn't someone else's job, it's yours, so rise up, speak out, get loud, be seen, and remember, your courage will never go unnoticed, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But someday, somewhere, someone will survive because you chose to be brave when it mattered most.